Yeah, guys. Okay, so let's begin the session. So in the last session, or till today, in the last two sessions, guys, we have seen the basics of this, and today we'll start with the subject, guys. Okay, from today onwards, we'll start with the subject. Okay, so let's go ahead on this, guys. Now, so before I move further, and we start with the things practically. Okay, just I wanted to brush it up once. Okay, guys. So let's begin this session here. So as you know that everyone, Azure data engineering. Okay, this was the thing we were discussing. Azure data engineering. So what is Azure data engineering, guys? Everyone. So Azure data engineering, everyone, is nothing but everyone. Azure data engineering is nothing but it's a bunch of cloud services, guys. Bunch of cloud services. Am I right? It is a bunch of cloud services. So Azure data engineering is a bunch of cloud services. That means many cloud services here we don't call as a modules. So hence we call it as what services. So many cloud services are intact here into the Azure data engineering, where as we already know that Azure is a name used by the Microsoft to market the cloud services. Azure is a name used by the Microsoft to market the cloud services. And then we have the data, guys. Data means what, everyone? Data is nothing but the information, guys. And engineering is nothing but what, guys, everyone? The techniques. So overall we can say the application of techniques on the data by using the Microsoft Azure is called as what? Azure data engineering, which is the bunch of cloud services. So what are the cloud services we have it, guys? As per our curriculum, we are going to see these. So hence I'm mentioning those. Apart from this, we have many more are there, but these are the very things that is very frequently used in every engineering, that is called as a data engineering project. Those are the first one is the ADF, which stands for the Azure Data Factory, and the second one we have it as the ADB, which is called as what? Azure Databricks, and then we have the guys Synapse. Then we have the Synapse, and even we have the AI, guys. That is called as what? Artificial intelligence. That is called as what? Artificial intelligence. So these are the services we are going to see it. Okay, so basically I'll more elaborate it today on this part. Basically the ADF, what we call here, that is called as the Azure Data Factory. It is a GUI, guys. That means what? Graphical user interface. The level of coding will be almost all zero. Everything will be drag and drop job. Okay, so except a few commands for the SQL commands, what we have to use it. Rest of the things will be the GUI only. That is graphical user interface, where the ADB, which is here we have it. This is purely CUI, guys, character user interface, where we use the coding language as a PySpark. Where we use the coding language as what? PySpark. Whereas PySpark is the combination of Python plus a Spark together, is called as what? PySpark, guys. PySpark. Okay. And whereas when you talk about the Synapse, Synapse is an application on which Synapse is an integrated application, guys. Okay. Synapse is an integrated service, I can say exactly, not this even the application, integrated service, which in wherein we have the ADF included, wherein we have the data lakes included, wherein we have the part of the Databricks coding we can execute it on the Synapse. That means the Synapse workspace will work on the cluster technology, guys, whereas the ADB also works on the cluster technology. What is this cluster now? Cluster, for your understanding at this point of time, I can say that when you wanted to process million and trillions of records, okay, trillion, billion, trillion records, you want to process it within a couple of seconds, it will process. That is the beauty of the cluster technology, guys. Okay. So here the Synapse comes with the inbuilt cluster technology. Okay. Wherein AI will generate, the AI is nothing but what? All the jobs what we can do it here using the ADF, ADB and the Synapse can be achieved by using the AI. Whereas obviously as a user, we will have to make some manual changes for it, because the user input, the AI totally depends upon the user input. What we want, we have to communicate in a proper order. Okay, what we want, we have to communicate in a proper order, guys. Then only it will give you the that is something but the appropriate output. That's the thing you have it. Where here it is just like the, the Gemini you have it in the Android application, and Siri you have it in this Apple application, that is the iCloud application, etc. Anyways, we will see it in detail more about this. Okay, so as we know that the Azure data engineering is a bunch of the cloud services. Using these cloud services, we can achieve the following tasks, guys. What is that you have it? The first one we can say, guys, data migration job. And then we have the data integration job. Data migration, data integration. Then we have the data summarization. Data migration, data integration, data summarization, and the data visualization. That's it, guys. So these are all the task of our data engineering. Okay, we can achieve it here by using the Azure data engineering. Okay, then apart from this, the next story comes here with the data, guys. Starts with the data. So as we already know, the data we get it, data is nothing but what, guys? Information, as already we know. And we get the data from the sources of data. And what are the sources of data, guys? We have it, everyone. Yes, guys, we have many sources, but I'll just shortlist it today. That is called as what? Social networking sites. Social networking sites. Then we have the live streaming process. Live streaming process. Then apart from this, we can also get the human generated data. And then we can also have the, yes, guys, we can also have, what's it, guys? Machine generated data.
Banking data.
Yes. Machine generated data. The data which is generated by the banking applications. Okay. All these are the various forms of, that is nothing but data, or various platforms from where we can receive the data. Based on our, what's it, guys? The project. If you're using the, if you are working on a BFSI domain, that is banking finance domain, then you will get the banking applications data. Okay, so every data will have some rules, so we have to follow some rules on that. That anyways we will discuss it, how to, what are the rules basically we have, and how to adhere on this rules and everything. Okay, guys. And now the next one, as we know, the data whatever we receive it from these sources, actually the data will be at external source. 90% you will have external source data only. Okay, so internal you will have very less amount of data, because mostly data, the mostly the Azure will receive the data from the migration process only. From the data migration process only, the Azure will receive the data, because Azure is a cloud, and mostly we get it the data from where? From the on-premises systems mostly. Okay, so whereas, guys, everyone, after receiving the data into the Azure, where does the data actually stores in Azure? So for that, today we'll start with the Azure storages, guys. So Azure storages plays a vital role on the data engineering projects, guys. On the data engineering projects, everyone, Azure plays a vital role in the data engineering projects, guys, everyone. So basically, once the data, everyone, once the data is, basically, once the data is, okay, extracted or received here into the, once the data is extracted or received here into the Azure, where does the Azure stores? So almost all in the Azure, we have 90 plus storages, guys, 90 plus different storages where we can store the data. 90 plus different storages we have it. Now let us discuss each one of the storage today. Okay. And the first and foremost storage, the first and the foremost storage in Azure is nothing called as what? The basic storage of Azure. The basic storage of Azure, which is called as a blob storage, which is called as what? Blob storage. The same blob storage in the, the AWS, it is called as what? Is bucket. Okay, buckets. So here we can say blob storage. Blob storage. Blob means what? Blob stands for, everyone, blob stands for binary large object. What is blob stands for? Binary large object. Blob stands for what, guys? Binary large object. Blob stands for what? Blob stands for the binary large object. Blob stands for what? Binary large object, where this is the very basic storage in Azure, guys. This is the very basic storage in Azure, where it has some limitations. What is the limitations? Now, before this, we also discussed the types of data as well. Am I right? What are the types of data we can have, guys?
Structured, semi-structured, structured.
Yes, exactly. So the type of data we can have, what's that? Structured, semi-structured, and unstructured. Structured, comma, semi-structured, comma, unstructured. These are the three categories of data we have it. Whereas in the blob storage, that is called a binary large object, we can store any kind of data, guys. Whether you have a structured data, or you have a semi-structured data, or you have the unstructured data, any kind of data we can store it here. Any kind of data. But there is a limitation here. What's the limitation? It is called as a limited storage. It is called as what? Limited storage. Because of which, what is the limited storage? It can store up to 500 TB, terabyte. It cannot store the data beyond 500 TB. Okay. So for this reason, as the data cannot be stored more than 500 TB, where even though we can store the structured, semi-structured, and unstructured, but in the real time projects, you may have the data beyond this limit. This is a very small limit you may expect, 500 TB. Okay. So this storage is a very basic storage. So in addition to that, the Azure has introduced one more storage that is called as what? Azure Data Lake Gen 2. Azure Data Lake Gen 2, where the Azure Data Lake Gen 2 can also store what's it, guys? Structured, semi-structured, and unstructured data. But here it is introduced with unlimited storage. Unlimited storage. Unlimited storage. Introduced with what? Unlimited storage, guys. So whereas it can store the data unlimited, whatever the volume of the data you have, you can store it on the, yes, guys, you can store it on the, you can store it in the Azure Data Lake Gen 2. Okay. Whereas it stores the data in the DFS format. DFS format. What do you mean DFS format, guys? Any idea? Okay, I'll tell you. DFS stands for distributed file format. Distributed file storage format. DFS stands for what? Distributed file storage format. Now, what is this distributed file storage format? For example, everyone, suppose you have 1000 lines data. I'm just giving you a vague example, guys. We will learn in detail once we get into the subject. Suppose you have 1000 lines data is there. How many? 1000 lines. That is the row values are 1000 here. And this, to store this very conveniently, what happens here is this data is distributed into the 4 blocks. How many? 4 data blocks. 4 data blocks, where each data block will be allocated with the 250, 250, 250 lines of data. 250, 250, 250 lines of data. Can you share? So if the data is distributed in the equal form, there is a scope of, guys, wide storage. That means that it will be very easier for the user to process the data, and even for the system to process the data. It will be very easy to process the data. Okay, that means the processing speed will not be reduced, everyone. The processing speed will not be reduced in any case. So the data is distributed among, okay, different data blocks. Different data blocks, guys. Okay, so whereas, so we can say distributed across the different data blocks, and these data blocks will be created where, guys? On the disk. Disk means what? Hard disk. Disk means what? Hard disk. Okay, so everyone got it? Please respond.
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir.
Now the next one, guys, this is the one storage you have it. Now this is the one you have it, but whereas it's not essential for us to have every time data received in the file formats. You will also have the data in, what is that, guys? In tables format also. That is called as a database. So how to store the data? For that, the Azure has come out with their product, or sorry, service called what? Azure SQL database. Azure SQL database. That means what? On the on-premises system, we call this, on the on-premises system, we call this as what? SQL Server database. On the on-premises system, we call this as what? SQL Server database. The same one with the same rules, whatever the RDBMS rules we have, it follows. And the same one here, it's called as what? Azure SQL database. That means the database which is managed by the Azure is called as what? Azure SQL database. But as it's the Azure SQL database, the data has to be stored only in the form of a table, whereas the tables are nothing but in the form of rows and columns, guys. Rows and columns. Okay, rows and columns. The data will be stored in the form of what? Rows and columns. Rows and what is that, guys? Columns. Whereas, everyone, whereas here, guys, the data will be stored in the form of what? Rows and columns. So now the data will be stored in the form of what? Rows and columns, which is nothing but called as what? Structured data. Structured data means what, guys? Ready to use data. Ready to use data is called as what? Structured data. But now the very, the latest technology is also being introduced here, whereas that is called as what? Azure Cosmos DB, where the next one we can say Azure MongoDB. What is this Azure Cosmos DB and MongoDB, guys? Both of them, guys, everyone, both of them are called as what? Yes, guys, both of them are called as what? The databases with no SQL. It is called as what? The databases with what, guys? Everyone, databases with what here? No SQL. That means what? When there is no SQL, there is no rules for the data storage. That is, RDBMS rules are not applied here. RDBMS rules are not applied here. But as the RDBMS rules are not applied on the same, it can store two types of data. What is it, guys? Structured data, that is data in the form of a table, and as well as a semi-structured data. Semi-structured data means what? The data which is stored in the form of what, guys, everyone? JSON files or XML files, HTML files, Parquet files, Avro files, then ORC files, optimized row columnar. ORC stands for what? Optimized row columnar. So these are all the formats where the Cosmos DB or the MongoDB is supported here, guys. Cosmos DB or the MongoDB is supported here. Okay. Then apart from this, the next storage we have it as what, guys? Azure Synapse Analytics. Azure Synapse Analytics. So whereas this is called as everyone, the Azure Synapse Analytics is called as what, guys? It is called as the data warehouse of Azure. Now, when we talk about the data warehouse of Azure, everyone, guys, do you know what is a data warehouse first of all? Please.
No, sir. We know like
Okay,
on a generic term,
but okay, I'll explain
warehouse.
you in a very simplified manner. I'll explain you what is a data warehouse basically. So, as we know, everyone, so you all guys know what is Excel sheet first of all. Am I right?
Yes,
Yes, sir.
Everyone knows the Excel sheet. How the data will be there in the Excel sheet?
rows and columns.
Exactly, in the form of some rows and columns. So I can say columns are like this: name, ID, job, salary. These are the columns you have it. Okay, let's give some data here. Name is, let us give Alan some value here. Okay, and the job is a software engineer, and the salary is, let us say, 50,000. And now I am using the Robert, something like this. Okay, rather than that, I'll use some other data. That's better now. Product ID, product rate, product quantity sold, and then you have date of sales. This is the data you have it. Let's use it, product ID, and the rate is, let us say, 100 rupees, and the quantity sold, let us say, 10 pieces, and the date of sales, let us give it here like this, 1st of October 2025. And then I will use something else, 200, and then I'll use a 20, 01, 10, 2025. This is the one you have it. I'll enter one more row here, guys. 300. This is the data. You will have the data in the Excel like this. Now, everyone, the data which you can find it or see it in the Excel sheet is nothing but, for your understanding at this point of time, I can say this is a type of database only. But the difference here is that the data in an Excel sheet, you can store up to a limited extent. If you have massive amount of data, you cannot store it in Excel sheet. Am I right? You cannot store it in Excel sheet. Whereas the very massive amount of data can be stored here in the database. The very massive amount of data we have it, it can be stored in an Excel sheet. Sorry, it can be stored in a database. It can be stored in a database. So we can say that the database is nothing but a place where massive volume of the data can be stored in a database. Massive volume of the data can be stored in a database. Wherein the second reason for using the database is that, okay, whenever you want the security to your data, Excel will not provide much security to your data. So in that case, we will go for storing the data into the database. Second reason. And third reason is that when you want to extract the data, extracting means what? I want only the net sales amount day wise. So in this case, you will not have any specific language or any specific formula to write it in Excel. So for that, we go with the database. Okay. Whereas you go with any database, whether you can say it is an Oracle database. Okay. It can be Oracle database, or it can be the SQL Server database, any database you have it. Basically, the database is divided into two parts. What are those two parts, guys? Everyone, the first one I can say, the first one I can say it here as the transaction database. So I'll write it in short, TDB. TDB stands for what? Transaction database. And the second one is, I'll call it as what? Data warehouse or warehouse database. Data warehouse or warehouse database. These are the two parts where the warehouse database will store the summarized records, and here the transaction database will store the detailed records. So we can say the data within the database is classified into two kinds of division here. First one is called as transaction database, wherein detailed data will be recorded, and the data warehouse, wherein you have the summarized records are recorded. But now you will have to find out the difference. What exactly? For that, I'll come out of the subject now. Let us take an example of a book now. Everybody, let's take an example of a book. You have reached a shop to buy a textbook for the subject called English. Textbook you have bought it for the subject called, what's it, guys? English. English storybook. Now, when you reach the shop or the book hosiery to buy the textbook, or you can say the English storybook, how many books you can find there? Many books will be there. Let us say some 100 books are there. The shopkeeper has showed you 100 books. The whole rack he showed you. But now tell me, can you take how do you take the decision of purchasing the book? How do you take? So is it possible for you to read all the books at the shop itself? Yes, guys. Is it possible for you to read all the books or check all the books at the shop itself? No, na. Really, practically,
No.
it's not possible. So what you do? So for that, basically, the book is divided into two parts. What is the two parts, guys? The first part is called as the index paper. I think everybody has observed it, index paper. And the second one is called as what? Detailed papers. Am I right? Detailed. That means, let us say there is an English textbook and there is a story here called The Little Angel. The Little Angel. I'm writing like this, The Little Angel. Page 1 to page 10. That means what? The story called Little Angel is starting from the paper called page number 1 and ending at the page number 10. But the story here begins in what? In the detail part, that is the first page. So the Little Angel is the story of a girl, etc., etc., blah blah blah. You have it like this. Okay, the detail will be there. So now, will you be having the time to read the whole story at the shop itself, guys, and decide the things? No, na. Simply you will refer the index paper and take the decision whether to buy this book or leave this book. Am I right or not? Everyone, please, guys, respond.
Yes.
Exactly. So now, so can I say the index paper is a shortcut of the detailed story or not?
Yes. Kind of a reference. Like,
Exactly. So can I say you will take a decision by looking into the index paper or not?
yes.
Exactly. The same thing, guys. Here, the index paper, we call it here. Let us say the book is compared just like the book is nothing but just like your database, guys, where the whole information is recorded here. The book is just like your database, where the index paper is just like your data warehouse. Index paper is just like your what? Data warehouse. And now the detailed part is nothing but just like your transaction database. So here you can say the detailed information of the transaction will be recorded into the transaction database, and the summarized information will be recorded into the data warehouse, where using the data warehouse you take a decision, and using this detailed paper you will verify this details here in the transaction database. So here also you can say, just like your book, you have a database, and database is classified into two type of databases internally based on the data. That is called as a transaction database, and the next one is called as what? Data warehouse. So everyone is clear with the concept now? What is data warehouse?
Sir, I have one doubt here.
Please, please.
Like, then both are different. Like here, index and this chapter is related. But this transaction and data warehouse will be two different kind of locations, or how is it?
No, 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 within the same one only. Within the same. See, book is one, na?
Yes.
Book is one. It is laminated or binded in one volume only. But the index paper will be on the first page, and rest of all will be starting from second page, na?
Yes.
The same thing will be there. Suppose you have the volume of the data is, let us say, the capacity of your database is 100 GB. So you can say 25 GB will be occupied by the data warehouse, 75 GB will be occupied by the transaction database.
Okay.
That's it. Okay. Just
Okay.
for vague example, I'm telling you. Okay.
Mm.
But the main thing is data warehouse here. We will be working on the data warehouse. So always the data warehouse will be your target, and the transaction database will be your source. So if you apply the same thing on the data, that means let us say this one is your transaction database, TDB. You have to develop the data warehouse based on this data. So I'm writing it directly. Can you see a data warehouse where I wanted to record the net sales amount? So some calculations I will make it here. You know how to calculate it because we have seen this example already. Net sales amount and the date of sales, I have it. So what is that I can do? I'm just doing the calculation. So here, what is that? 100 into 10.
4,000.
Yes, directly 100 into 10 is 1000. 200 into 20 is
4,000,
4000.
9,000.
Yes, 300 into 30 is what's it is? 9000. So totally you have how much amount is it? 14,000. Am I right?
Yes.
14,000. And this one is which date sales you have it? 0,
Uh,
1, 10, 20, 25. Now, if you want which product has that, this data warehouse is developed based on the transaction database only, na? So to develop this transaction data from the develop this data warehouse from the transaction database, this process is called as what, guys? We apply the process called ETL here. We apply the process called what? ETL here. That is called as extraction, transformation, and loading. Nowadays, even we are using the process that's called ELT. ELT is just reverse of this, guys. Extract, load, and transform. First of all, extract and load as it is data. Based on the requirement, you perform the transformation. But this technique, slowly we are upgrading it. But the ETL is a very olden technique. You have it here. Okay. So basically, you can say overall, the data warehouse is developed based on the transaction database only. Now everyone is clear with this?
yes, sir.
So guys, these are the very basic things which we require to know it here. That's the reason I'm just emphasizing on all these guys. Okay. So that's one we have it. So now, then apart from this guys, Azure Synapse, you have the seventh storage that is called as what? Azure Virtual Machine. Virtual machine also you can create. That is parallel system also you can design it here.
Sir,
Okay.
one question I can ask.
Please, please, please.
In the data warehouse, can we tell like data warehouse is a subset of transaction database?
Obviously, subset of transaction database. Some more things are also added here. You can say exact words. I can say it is the calculated or transformed result of the transaction database as per the user requirement.
So data warehouse is a transformed.
transformed and calculated or developed based on it's basically, see, the same example what we have seen it just now. Sure, it's gone, no problem. See, basically it is a transformed result. It is a transformed result of the transaction database. It is the transformed, that means changed as per the user requirement.
Okay.
See, there is a company who is paying different employees different salaries. Now you want to know, or the employer want to know, how much amount I'm spending towards paying the salaries. So what we will do, we'll calculate the total sum now. That calculation process will be done by the ETL. And whatever, suppose let us say 5 crores is the amount which is spent towards paying the salaries of the employee, that will be stored in the data warehouse. But if you want to verify how the 5 crores is being spent on paying towards the salaries of the employees, you have to go and verify in what? Transaction database. You're getting my point?
Yes, yes.
See, don't go in that way. Very simple. So this month you have made expenses of overall calculation. Okay. You overall calculation is 1 lakh rupees you have spent. How much you have spent for each activity in your life for this month? Where you will record in a different paper or not?
Yes.
That is your transactions. Overall, how much amount spent is what? Calculated result, no? Yeah. Overall, how much amount is spent is calculated result. That
Yes.
is stored in the data warehouse. That's it. Simple.
So the summation part is data warehouse. The individual details is the transaction.
Exactly. Exactly. That's the only thing you have. Okay.
Okay.
That's a basic thing, basic structure of the data warehouse. You will have many more things that anyways I will tell you once we get into the subject. Now I don't want to, confuse the things by adding new things. Okay. That's a very basic things. But the overall structure will be like that only. Nothing else. Okay. So
Okay.
Azure virtual machine. Virtual machine means what? Parallel systems. You can design it for the file systems. And you can also design it for the SQL Server database, etc. These are some parallel systems. Okay, the virtual machines I will explain you once we get into the subject. So these are all the things we have it, guys. Now, how to get started with the Azure now? Everyone, there's a main factor. How to get started? Everyone, you have to take your subscriptions. How? Use the azure.com. I'll show you here now. Azure.com. Log into the azure.com. Normally, I'm opening it here. Just wait, everyone. I'll take you to the page as well, so that you will get an overview idea and you can start preparing the things accordingly. I'm sharing this page here. Everyone, see here. Just use the azure.com now. So if you use azure.com, this is your page, guys. Everyone, see, it will ask you for the things. What is it? So everyone is able to see the Azure screen.
Yes.
This is the one. You will have get started with Azure, explore Azure AI. So you just click on the get started with Azure here. Now you will have two the modules you can say are two things you have it. That's try Azure for free or pay as you go model. Pay as you go model is nothing but it is just like you take the Prime subscription, Amazon Prime subscription you take by paying some money. Some new latest releases you can watch now. In the same way, if you're using the free subscription for the Amazon Prime, you will be able to watch the old movies, not the latest releases. Am I right? The same thing you have it. You will not have much features in the Try Azure for free, but you can also use the Try Azure for free for 1 month, free of cost. You can also use the pay as you go model, but for this I don't suggest everyone to take the pay as you go model initially. You can start with the Try Azure for free now. So you just click on the try Azure for free. So here you have to sign up. Sign up means the same process. You have to give the mail ID, your debit or credit card details, okay, your address, etc., etc. But as already I am signed in here, it's taking me to my mail ID here. Can you see here? It's taking to my mail ID. Okay. So this is the one you have it. So anyways, so this is the one. So once everything is done, you'll be rerouted back to the final page. That page is called as what? Portal.azure.com. Portal.azure.com. This is the page you have it. This is a rerouted page, final page you have it. So here you can see all the details. Just click on the subscriptions here. You can see your subscription. This is my current subscription. So here, this is the cost for my subscription. You have it. Yeah. 135 rupees is my basic cost now. So I'm just opening this. And it will show my even previous bills. So how much was my previous bill? The last bill amount is what? 3,695.35 is my amount due which I have to pay. So this is the one you have it, because mine is a pay as you go model. But if you, why I have taken the pay as you go model? Because I need to use all the services. I need to use, it's a personal subscription, guys. It's not my corporate subscription. It's a personal subscription. I've taken it on my own. So these are the, see, AI if you want, you can use the AI search. You can use the data synapse, you can use it. Data factory, you can use it. You can use the Databricks. All the services you can use it here. That is the reason why I have taken the paid subscription. But in the free subscription, almost all are not allowed to use. Okay, you will have some boundaries on that. That's the one you have it, guys. Okay, so initially you can start with this free, and later you can switch it over to the pay as you go model once you understand the subject. That is the one you have it. And basically for the free subscription, they will charge only 2 rupees from your debit card or a credit card, and 2 rupees will be refunded to you in 8 to 10 days. So you need not worry on this. Okay, so that's it, guys. Okay, here we have it. So now that's it for the day, everyone. So if you have any questions now, you can ask me, guys. And tomorrow we'll have the session. But tomorrow, it will be a paid subscription. That is the paid link. You will have it. The free things are completed. So go ahead with the process of registration uh, or by tomorrow. So we'll have and the paid link will be sent to you directly. Okay, guys. And the timing will be standard, as I said, 9 to 10 will be the standard timings for the session. And initially, we'll start with the ADB, guys. Azure Databricks, I'll start first. Because the Databricks is a very important, and you'll get the most of the jobs in the Databricks only. Okay. So it's better to learn the Databricks first. Parallelly, I'll start the ADF also. ADF at 8 p.m. also, we'll start the ADF. Okay. That's the one you have it, guys. Please go ahead with your questions if you have it.
So like, suppose I'm creating an account, I need to start with this free trial, or it is better if I directly start with.
Try with the free now first.
Okay.
Try with free. If you want, you can upgrade it. That's not a problem. Anytime you can upgrade it.
Okay. Okay.
But
And
initially, it's a postpaid type of thing. You need not pay anything in advance
okay.
except 2 rupees. Okay.
Okay.
So, anyways, we will see this. That is 9 p.m. will be standard for ADB, and we'll see if we could able to complete the ADB in 1 month. Then parallelly we can start the ADF. Or if you want the things to be make it more faster, then we can parallelly start at 8 p.m. Okay, let us discuss that. That's not a thing, but we'll start first the ADB, guys. Okay, so that is nothing but the thing we have it. Okay, so that's it now. Any other questions for me now?
No, sir.
Thank you, guys.
Yeah.
So I'm ending up the session here. Tomorrow we'll meet at 9 p.m. the same time. Okay,
Yeah.
thank you.
Thank you.
See, basically, though it is a festival tomorrow, but still, why I'm just it's a matter of 1 hour, guys. It will not take you much. Okay. So, but the thing is, actually, we will take a standard off on Saturdays and Sundays. If again I take some off on these festivals in the mid, So it may impact on this. So we'll have the session tomorrow. That's the only thing concern I have. Because anyways, tomorrow is Thursday. If we go ahead to the Friday, then Saturday, Sunday, anyways, we'll be having an off. So just try to spend it 1 hour tomorrow. Okay. Thank you, everyone.
Yeah. Okay, sir. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye-bye. Google Drive everything I'll provide you once the things are done. Google Drive everything I'll provide you shortly. The access and material one, everything.
So those will be provided once we join, like pay the course,
Yeah,
correct?
yeah, yeah. Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
And these all sessions, also recorded sessions will get it,
Yeah,
right?
these are all recorded, will share to you.
Okay. Okay.
These all will be shared to you. Okay, thank you.